So today we want to focus on, you did a lot of conversation, particularly the media. You talked about the media as witchcraft. Over to you.
Media, the issue that on farmers of thought we are advocating for at a broader spectrum, it is the danger that we now face in our modern society, where parents and family have been substituted by entertainment, where the TV now takes the central place in a home, where the silver screen, even in our lounges, the way we design them, the biggest time consumer is in front of the TV itself. So it's entertainment. It's something that enters into you, and it attains and it sits and controls thinking. And you're looking at Germany, for example, as the best example of how Hitler was able to drive the agenda. He used media, and under the name of propaganda, where you send in a certain kind of information, and it has been proved in media that all you need is to say something over and over again, and people already begin to this truth. 87%, if not more, of the stuff that people are consuming is not necessarily correct. And 87% of the people will not bother to verify if the information is correct or is wrong. But because it's already available and everyone is talking about it, it becomes truth. I cannot go further to begin even to talk about the COVID issues and corona issues, the wars that are happening, the evils of Saddam Hussein, the evils of Muammar Gaddafi, the evils, and how media begins to share a picture of how evil Gaddafi is, to an extent that when Gaddafi is killed, people actually say, well done, the man is dead, he was a horrible man. But you look at the world that Saddam Hussein had created in Iraq, the glory of Iraq. You look at the glory of Libya, when Muammar Gaddafi was in power. Go there now, you will cry. It has turned into a slum. Look at Iraq, it has turned into a ghost town. And the Americans and the powers that be, the French and the British, who have an economic agenda in those countries. And because they control media, BBC, CNN, Sky News, they can portray a picture, and constantly they say it. Constantly they say it until the masses are swayed to believe the other. So media is not just a tool for entertainment. Yes, it can be used as an edutainment, a platform, which means that you can educate your people through the media. However, many of us, don't have control over the content that is being put into the media space. American movies, gangsterism, violence, drugs, sex, thuggery, and of course, every time the American soldiers are going for war, they never lose the war. It's a subliminal message that begins to send a fear message around the world that these people are strong and they're might, and you can never fight with them, and you can win those battles. And we notice in some certain movies, immediately the movie begins, the first person to be killed must be a black person. It means nothing. And alternative lifestyles of, for example, same-sex marriages, the propagandas that are destroying African community are slowly being put in with a small little flavor of human rights and etc. But my question is not necessarily to argue or resist people who want to experiment their lives in that fashion. But we have greater problems in Africa. Poverty, for example, clean water, wealth creation, job creation, real pertinent issues. The gay community is 0.09%, so to speak. But how do you take the issues around such a small percentage of the population of Africa and make it the biggest issue? Some countries in Africa right now are not receiving donor money because of their policies on the same-sex marriages. And we know very well that America considers that as one of the first priority issues before they can give you donor money. Are you friendly to the homosexual principle? And propaganda and media is being used as a way of stereotyping, as a way of downplaying the morality of the African, as it were. And in South Africa, for example, where I live right now, every other soapy, every other movie that is being shot locally must always have a gay agenda in it. And you wonder how many of the communities, members of the community, are actually, you know, crying for this. No, we are sensitizing people. Now it has started to affect the curriculums, that our children must now be taught how to masturbate in class. They must now be taught how to have sex in class, how to condomize. And while you're teaching our children sex and condomizing, the Chinese are teaching their children how to make technologies, how to make TVs, and be ahead of the... Now, when these children know sex, what career are they going to build out of sex? Those, for me, are the media miscarriages that we needed to speak about as adults and mature people. I'm not saying it's not important, but again, I'm saying it is not a priority to Africa right now, where clean water, malaria, you know, political instability are the big issues that are affecting the community. But instead of focusing at the crisis that Africa is facing, media is all about entertainment and pushing a Western agenda on the African people. And I personally, in my own capacity, feel like it's a decoy. We are being misled to focus at non-issues, non-core issues, when the real issues that are affecting our communities are left untouched. We want land. We want media to begin to communicate how to farm, how to own land, how can you use the legal frameworks to collect your land, and how do you plant indigenous fruits, how do you process your foods, and except critical issues of survival of humanity. And here we are, being taught, teaching our children how to masturbate. And I wonder what community we are creating for the future. Again, it goes back to education, because even when you put a black person to run content at a public media, they already have been taught from a white institution. And what they've been taught about programming is not black African programming. They don't even know their culture. They don't know their festivals. They don't know their rituals. They are not in touch with their African fashion. All they want to do, Big Brother America, they want to do Big Brother Africa, you know, cheating husbands and cheating housewives. They also want to duplicate that at home. You know, America has got talent, Africa has got talent. So what you tend to find is this cloning of Western, British and American TV programs coming back into the African context. Why? Because even the educated media personnel does not have the archive, the information, the transformative information that when they are in power, they can also be in control of the programs that they are running. So it goes back again to education, that the most educated amongst us, they've been educated to learn about the other rather than learning about themselves.